Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Unstoppable Singer. We are back to a brand new season 5 of the Unstoppable Singer and another very empowering episode today on the podcast. I am your host, singer, and vocal coach, Danielle Tucker. The Unstoppable Singer is a live interview show where we dive into the lives of real life professional singers who have achieved incredible feats in their lives and careers. And we explore the challenges and triumphs that come with a life under the bright lights. And we learn what being unstoppable truly means to them. So, if you're passionate about music and stories about remarkable artists, then you're in the right place. So stick around. We'll jump right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have the privilege of introducing a remarkable artist with a musical journey as diverse as her melodies. San Diego born, but currently residing in Norfolk, Virginia, Allegra DuChaine is a singer, songwriter, and an all-round life enthusiast. Her musical odyssey began in her teenage years and has since taken her on a captivating adventure across the globe. With a career spanning decades, Allegra has graced stages worldwide, sharing her soulful stories through heartfelt lyrics. Her music is a tapestry woven with influences ranging from iconic artists like Paul Simon and James Taylor to her own unique perspective. And in addition to her endeavors, Allegra has released multiple albums, including Evolution, set to launch this January 27th. And she has just been nominated for the Veer Music Awards in Hampton Roads, recognized for her outstanding work in the industry. So join us and welcome Allegra.
Hi.
Hello.
Wow, what an intro.
Hey,
Hi.
it's you. Isn't it
It's
great when
me.
you hear that back?
It is pretty cool, I have to say.
Well, congratulations. It sounds like you have some pretty awesome things going on, which I want to jump right into. But just for our listeners, Allegra and I have not interacted, throughout the years too much, but I've been watching from the sidelines through social media and have always, been cheering you on, rooting you on that way. But you and I go way back to
Way back.
this. Oh God, I don't even know what year it was, but it had to be at least
It's about
15 years
15
ago.
years, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We were both in a singer-songwriter competition with the San Diego Fairgrounds that went on for weeks and weeks.
Oh my gosh.
And it was super fun, but that's where you and I first met, and we were just babies then.
We babies.
Yeah, we've come a long way since then.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Great to see you again.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, but happy New Year to you.
Thanks, you too.
Yeah, I know that the year is starting out super great for you because you've got a new release coming up on the 27th. Tell us all about that and all the other great things that you have going on right now.
Okay, I do have a release. It's my album Evolution, and it is set to release on the 27th. Pre-sales are available on the 13th online wherever you buy music. And this has been my favorite project to date. I mean, it's just, I'm so proud of this album. I'm just over the moon about my new producer
Mm.
here in Virginia Beach. He is, when I first got here, I was kind of, hit the ground running. Let's find a producer. Let's record. I've got ideas. I've got songs, but I've also got a ton of ideas at the ready for this new journey, because it's been a military life moving from place to place every 3 years. And this is the new place, and this is all the new adventures and all the new different little speed bumps and hurdles. And I'm ready to write some good stuff, and I'm ready to do it in a way that I am really proud of, in a fashion of kind of pop that can uh, be really easily heard and enjoyed by a pretty wide demographic. And
Mhm.
I found my producer, and he is just amazing. The all around feel of the entire album is just it is great. I'm so excited about it. I'm just really excited about it.
That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, tell me more. What are we gonna hear on this album?
So this album has got Evolution has got 10 songs, one of which, the first track actually is I released it as a single last year. It's called Toast, and it was actually picked up by Jazzercise, International.
That's
So
awesome.
it's on one of their collections, their July collection of last year, and since that has happened, that song I've gotten worldwide, listens, new fans everywhere. I've got people, contacting me from Tokyo and Scotland and New Zealand and Germany and all these places that are just so on fire about Toast, which is a blast. I mean, it's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing to wake up and see a reel, from a small town in Scotland with your music and everybody dancing to it.
That's gotta
It's
be amazing. I love that.
it is amazing. It's amazing. And I've been a jazzercise instructor on top of the music for, 12 years. And
Oh.
and I've, been submitting music to them for a long time.
Mhm.
And you know, this is the first one that they picked up, and I had no idea that my two, worlds, the fitness world and my music world would, you know, combine ever.
Yeah.
So that was exciting. The album is formed in a way that it does take you on a journey from the first song, which is Toast, which is, the lyrics are, this is a toast to life, to change, to saying yes, a toast to love and challenges, to feeding curiosity. This is a toast to breaking rules and messing up, a toast to finally waking up, a toast to what we've yet to see. So let's cheers to living wild and true and free. And that's how
Ah,
it starts out. It's just this like, let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready for the new chapter. I'm ready for the new adventure. And then it just takes you through the rest of this, essentially this last year of mine, which hopefully has a lot of lessons and a lot of kind of relatable scenarios to a lot of people.
mhm.
It's just about change. It's about evolving. It's about growing, and finding your oneness and finding your individuality and starting to really love ourselves as opposed to searching for something outside and
Yeah.
all the difficulty that comes along with that. So that's the premise of the album, and I couldn't be more excited about, how it's finally come to fruition.
Yeah, I love the messaging so much. That's super inspiring. And I'm curious to know if we can dive into that just a little bit more. It kind of sounds like, well, just like as you've described, kind of an evolution, a progression into a new season of your life. You're
Yes.
kind of toasting change. What can you give us any specifics on some of the things that inspired some of the songs on the album, or just the general inspiration behind it?
I would say, like I mentioned, I have been, in a military relationship for the past 15 years, and that has, like, amazingly taken me all over the world. I mean, we lived in Fiji, we lived in Boston, we lived in California, we live in Virginia now. I've gotten to travel more than I could have ever hoped for. I can't wait to travel more. But for my music career, that was really tricky. Um, Building a fan base and getting traction and then having to move
Mm,
and start over again, essentially. Um, with the experiences under my belt, but also, in the career aspect of it, it really was starting over in every different city. Like, okay, here we go again. How am I going to do this now? Now with my tool belt, how am I going to start and build a fan base from zero yet again?
mm,
And so this last 2022 in April, when we moved to Norfolk, it this is our last station. This is it. My husband, Joe, retires from the Navy. So we don't have to move again. So that is a huge thing. That was kind of a big deal. That's a big deal that like, wow, if I don't have to go anywhere right now, I can actually dig my heels in. I can start exploring what it is to grow my business actually, not just
Mhm.
transfer it from place to place and all the start overs. So that was kind of the basis of where my mind, the process for this album started. It was like, wow, I'm free now
Mhm.
to focus on the music, to focus on my business, to actually start this thing for real.
Mhm.
And once I kind of acknowledged that and, I found my producer, I started writing a bunch of songs about, one of my songs is called Me Time, and it's about how we, uh, think it's not a valid thing to have me time, with the world in the state that it is. It's like, "Oh, you're just," that might be construed as selfish or lazy or whatever it is, but it's a song about maybe all I need is just a little bit of me time, you
Mhm.
know? Even when it seems it's not a valid thing, and that mentality will come and get me soon, so I gotta clear my mind, I gotta get a little me time.
Mhm.
And, um, it's it's been I'd say the biggest thing, relating to not having to move again is the fact that I haven't put myself on the front burner for a
Mhm.
while, and it feels really good to start finding my independence, realizing that we all need to have a love affair with ourselves before
Mhm.
anything else can happen. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like I'm having this love affair with myself. I'm exploring things that I've never explored before. I'm delving into these deep corners of what I need and who I am, and and the fact that that's okay to make changes and grow and figure things out for yourself and love yourself even more.
Mhm.
So that's kind of where it began
Yeah.
and where it's headed.
That's a wonderful place to land. That's a great season of life to be in, I think.
Mhm.
Um, and I, I'm very interested to talk more about what that is like starting over on multiple occasions, because it's most typical for me to talk to singers who have, you know, early on in their careers, they've chosen to land in New York, LA, a lot in San Diego, and once they've kind of got their footing there, have really grounded themselves there, built the community, built the
Right,
whole network of musicians.
right.
And I know that I would certainly say, God, I couldn't imagine just picking up and moving and starting all that over again. But you have done it multiple times. And so I'm sure that the whole concept of that is, framed in a totally different way. There must be, advantages and disadvantages, to doing that several times. What has your experience been like that throughout your journey?
It's been, it's been an amazing life that I've led. We were just talking a little bit ago about how you get to a certain point in your life and you look back and go, "Oh my god, I have lived 100 lives." Because you
Mhm.
think, "Oh, that was back when I lived in New York. Oh my god, I lived in New York. That's crazy. I don't even remember that. Where was I
Mhm.
before that? Where was I after that? Oh, I lived in San Francisco for a bit. I lived in San Diego, and then I was in," it's just it's all information to draw upon. Travel is essential. I mean, for a musician, I think 100%. For anyone, I'd say it's 110%. It's so imperative that we get out of our comfort zone. And
Mhm.
I have been, you know, very gratefully thrown out of my comfort zone every 3 years, and into a new arena, a new, taste factory, a new, uh, networking, scenario. Every 3 years, I'm just like, "Okay, you have to do it. This is your deck for now. So what are we gonna do with it?" And it has been really, really challenging, and it has, made me work, I guess, even harder to build my networks. But now I look back and think, wow, I'm trying to for instance, right now, I'm trying to build, um, a world tour, and I have friends everywhere. I
Yeah.
have someone in every country because
Yeah.
I've been able to do that, and had I not, jumped into the life that I did, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I wouldn't be able to literally call someone in Fiji and say, "Hey, I wanna come play in Fiji," and say, like, "Absolutely,
Yeah.
anytime, you name it, come and stay with us." Like, "I need to play in Australia. I wanna go
Mhm.
play in Germany, in France, in New Zealand," and, I can in Italy, I can choose a place, and I have someone there because of the travel, because of the moving around, because of the uprooting and starting over. So,
Mhm.
I mean, that's another thing that this album is about being 42 and realizing, "Oh my gosh, I have so much life ahead of me. I am so young. I am so vibrant. I am so much clearer now than I was in my 20s."
Mhm.
And thankfully, I have all these experiences now to draw upon in my back pocket and all these, you know, places that I've seen and experiences and things that I've witnessed. And that's the coolest thing about having 100 100 different lives, behind you, is that you just have so much more to write about.
Right. Right. To me, it sounds like there's just so much freedom in that, and there's a lack of dependence, or there's a lack of impermanence, where you don't feel like you are completely depending on one set of circumstances in your career, where you don't depend on this very, small or large network of musicians in one particular area. And I definitely have recognized what that comfort zone looks like. I mean, I've been in San Diego my whole career pretty much. But I've had this advantage now of doing, 5 seasons of this show and talking to singers worldwide who have fantastic, thriving careers. And what it makes you recognize is the fact that you think the little bubble of your network and career is the end all be all, and it's the whole music universe. But when you step outside of that, you realize you are just a very small piece of
Oh my
what's
gosh.
really going on out there. And unless you kind of remove yourself from that, from the nest once in a while, you won't know that until you kind of step out of that. I think that's a wonderful advantage that you've had.
Absolutely. And, there are clear, clear disadvantages. I mean, my gosh, not just like we were saying, that not having that, that footing early on, to by the time you're my age, to have a very substantial group in a very specific place, really knowing who you are and really following you and really, being your kind of contingency. It's, um eh, you have to take the goods with the bads. It is, yes, I do have people worldwide. I don't have big groups worldwide. I have a little speckles of
Yeah.
people everywhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say the advantages for me, do outweigh the disadvantages, just because it has given me that opportunity, that little look into, uh, out of the bubble,
Yeah.
out of the comfort level, continuously,
Right. Right.
which is always scary, and it's always it gets less scary. But no, let me change that. It doesn't get less scary, I just have more tools now. Every
Yeah.
time I do it, It's terrifying. It's moving to a new place, having to start again. It is terrifying. It's like, what if these people here don't like what I have to
Mhm.
offer?
Mhm.
But with all the travel and the years, it I have a bigger toolbox.
Yeah.
I might have the right tools. So if one tool doesn't work, I'm like, okay, let me try this other thing that I picked up along the way. Let me try this other thing that I picked up along the way. And then I'll find one that works, or you know, I'll not find one that works. And that's okay, because this has given me the opportunity to realize that we are so mobile.
Yeah.
We can go, we can move, we can do anything. Like, we can go anywhere.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's allowed.
Yeah, that's such a great lesson. I would love to hear what it was like for you when you um, landed in Virginia and knew that you'd be there, for a while, and you were starting fresh. What were some of those first steps you took to start reestablishing yourself in that city?
I think one of the first steps was finding a producer. So I just went online, and there was finding, okay, so I guess let's back up. Going online, finding the Hampton Roads slash Norfolk slash Virginia Beach, all the groups. Going onto Facebook, finding all the
Mhm.
groups, all the live music groups, the, musicians of Norfolk, musicians of Virginia Beach. Um, I did, and then I did open mics. I started, open mics at with an established career that I've been at for, you know, 30 years is a wild place to be.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, woo, I get paid for this, but I'm gonna go and play some songs for you, and that's okay, because this is just me starting this new chapter, so you do have to let go. That's another thing that really does hits you, when you're traveling, as much as we have and I have, and you have to relinquish a little bit of that ego, which
Mhm.
is really tough, because we need ego. As performers, we have to believe in ourselves.
Mhm.
We have to kind of love what we do. We have to love the product, or
Right.
else it's not, we have to have some of it, but you do have to give a little bit of it away, and recognize that I'm not going to get anywhere with anyone unless I really crank up the humble, I crank up the gratefulness,
Mhm.
take down the ego a little bit. Nobody here knows me from Adam, so I'm just gonna have to show them. And it really also gives you a little bit of like, okay, ooh, yeah, I'm like feeling 20 something again. I gotta show you. I gotta show you what I got. So yeah, I did some open mics, promptly got some gigs after that. Um, from the people that ran the open mics, I got contacts for local musicians, looking for bands, looking for people to jam with, looking for people to write with. I stepped out into the live music scene here, and went to the breweries that had live music, went to the bars that had live music, and kind of just meeting people, meeting musicians, sending out messages on Facebook. Hey, I'm new in town. Um, here's my info. Here's my Instagram. Here's my Facebook. Here's my albums. Here's my YouTube. Do you book shows? Do you book solo artists? And when can I get a booking?
Mhm.
And so I started, I got a few bookings at a few places. Those led to other bookings at other places. And it just grows kind of, it was very, organic
Mhm.
style. And it just, yeah, I just started playing those cover gigs, and those shows that I would pepper in, my original tunes, and, mention when I had singles coming out, and mention, when I had a music video coming out, and I was able to really just start playing again, 3-4 times a week
Mhm.
at different establishments, and it grows from there. It's really word of mouth around here. It's very live music heavy. There's a lot of people that are interested in not only hearing live music, but hearing live original music, and
Mhm.
it's just, you've got to network. You have to just put yourself out there in the very small ways. Baby steps. Always baby steps. Even at
Mhm.
this point, it's just like, yep, open mic. Okay, when's another open mic? When is okay, I went to the open mic at that place. That person mentioned this other place that has live music. I'm gonna check them out on Friday, see who's playing, see if anyone, see if I can chat with some of those musicians, see if I can chat with the establishment. Then you chat with that establishment, you chat with those musicians, they say, here's where I'm playing next, actually. I'm like, oh, cool, good to know. Do they hire solo musicians? Yes, they
Mhm.
do. So I give them a call, send out a ton of emails, send out, phone calls to the offices of, different booking agencies. Now I'm kind of not represented, but I'm assisted by a couple different booking agencies around here, and I do a lot on my own as far as live shows go. So it's it's the tried and true slow and steady wins the race type of thing. You have to jump in, and you have to understand and recognize and be okay with the fact that it's a new place and the
Yeah.
world is huge, even though it's so small. No one's gonna know you, and you're just gonna have to believe. If you believe in it, and if it's what you need to do, and if it's the lifestyle that you clearly have no other option than to do, then you have to just do it, and you have to go and take the steps,
Yeah.
which is
I
what I did.
Yeah, and I admire the hell out of the determination and the courage that it takes to do that, to do it repeatedly, you
Yeah.
know, and it's not easy. And I think um, I love that our listeners are hearing this, and I hope that everyone listening will really take it to heart because this is going to apply in so many different scenarios. In your case, these were military moves. Um, could happen under a lot of different circumstances, whether you are just relocating for whatever the reason may be. But this also applies to singers who are really just trying to establish themselves right out of the gate. This applies to singers who have stepped out of the music business for a while for whatever reasons and find themselves in a new season of life or a later stage of life. I hope this shows you that it is never too late. You're never in the wrong place. It all depends on you and your determination, having grit like Allegra, and just having that kind of industrious nature, that entrepreneurial spirit to just get out there and set up shop
Mhm.
wherever it is that you land, you
It's
know?
true. On
Yeah.
that, I mean, for anyone listening, it is so okay and so normal for musicians to have burnout
Yeah.
and say, "You know what? Maybe this isn't for me," and try something new and do, something else. Do whatever other career was kind of on the back burner and you're like, "Maybe I'll try this for a while." I've done that probably legit probably 4 or 5 times. I've gone
Mhm.
like, "I can't do this anymore. I'm exhausted by it. I am," the cover gigs are getting under my skin. I'm getting more irritated than I am fed. I can't do it. I need to go. And
Mhm.
I've done that, and I've left it, and sure, as the sky is blue, I come back to it because I am a musician and that's what you do. But it's
Mhm.
okay to step away. It's okay to explore other options. And, you'll find out how important being an artist is to you if you can't stay away.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. And those it's I don't think it should ever be considered a step back either, because no matter what, we are always moving forward. Every day we're getting up, it's a
Absolutely.
new day, we're moving forward no matter what. And those periods that you may decide to step out, take a break, whatever, whatever it is you want to do, it's still a period of growth in your life. And as an
Absolutely.
artist, every day you're evolving, you're creating the landscape or the canvas for the new material that's coming. And it could just be that you just needed that moment in time, in your life, to take that sabbatical or little break from it. But the door is always open to come back.
The door is always open. Absolutely. It really
Yeah.
is, and it's just like you said, it is, that those steps, those lateral steps are simply just gathering information. If you're meant to be in the music industry, the more info, the better.
Yeah.
Go try out something different. Get something else that you can mold and form into this, to this industry, to this creation. If
Mhm.
you're a creator and you wanna create, sometimes going elsewhere is going to give you that meat, is gonna give you that, this some secret potion that you were trying and trying and trying for, just with the, like, you know, pounding the pavement and doing the music and just getting burnout, that you couldn't see it. So
Yeah.
sometimes you do step away, and sometimes that's where the magic happens. And then you can bring
Mhm.
that back, because guess what? It's fluid. We are fluid. And like you said, it's all evolution. It's all growth. There's no steps back
Mhm.
at all. It's like
Yeah.
relationships. It's a relationship with your craft. Even falling back into a relationship with an ex. People are like, "Oh, I just feel like I've taken a step back." It's like, well, you've you've learned more about yourself, and now you're gonna address that regardless. You're going to address that situation with different eyes, even
Yeah.
if a little, you know? It's always a step forward.
Yeah. Wow. That's really important. Um, I love where you're at today, and just the your mindset around where you're at. To me, I just think that's a wonderful place to be, and I'm super inspired by it. But I would love to go back in time all the way to your origins and find out, where did the music journey begin for you? Where did that get ignited in you?
I have been a singer since I can remember. I mean, I started, I was doing, with me and my sisters, Torianna and Angela, we would, sing three-part harmonies. Anytime we could, we were singing all the time. My parents were musicians. My dad would come into our bedrooms in the morning to wake us up for school with his guitar. He would, like, bust through the door, and he's playing, like, "How beautiful is the morning." It's like, they were all about music all the time. Every road trip that we took as a family was five-part harmonies in the car, just traveling down the road like the Partridge Family. And, it was, yeah, absolutely, always a part of my life since I was tiny, tiny. I
Mhm.
always wanted to be a singer. I always wanted to sing. I always wanted to perform. I always wanted to be in front of the crowd. I had that spotlight fever, you know, and since I can literally remember.
Yeah, yeah. And did you start any type of formal training around it, or was everything self-taught?
For the most part, it has been self-taught. I had a little bit of piano lessons, I think, when I was about 8 years old, and, some classical guitar lessons when I was 12, but those did not last, I think, probably maybe a year or so. And then, guitar, just these are the instruments, though, I was always singing along, and I always had the voice, um, thinking about people that ask me constantly, like, "Do you teach? Do you teach? I would love to take voice lessons. Do you teach voice? Do you teach voice?" And I always have to say, "No, because I wouldn't know the first thing about teaching voice. And it's not what my passion was never that. It was because I didn't learn it from a teacher. I didn't get instructed on it. So I would be like, well, and my always my answer is, well, I can show you what I know, but
Yeah.
it's not going to be technical because it's always been, my voice has been, I did when I was maybe 14 or 15, I did a few years of vocal manipulation with a man called Martin Grusin, and that
Yes, I
was in
know Martin, or knew Martin.
yeah, yeah, and say in Del Mar.
Uh-huh.
So I took some lessons with him, and that is all the training that I've ever received.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So then where did the kind of professional aspirations quick kick in for you?
I would probably say in high school when I formed my first band called Next Exit. I was at San Diego Academy in Encinitas, and it was me on a 12-string guitar, a violinist, and a full set drummer. So that was our band, and it was delightful. Very, just very, very top very, like, high end, it
Uh-huh.
wasn't there was no low end. There was no low end at all. There was no bass. It was just, wow. And I started writing for my senior project. It was My senior project was to make an album. So that was my first album, and it
Mhm.
was called Singer, and it was an 8-song album, and that's when I started writing, was in high school, and, loved it, had a fever for it, was so excited, to be learning these chords and putting words to them, rhyming words, putting poetry. I was writing, but I never put it to the music, and once I learned how to play guitar, I was really, really stoked to put them together, and,
Mhm.
um, chose to go to college for theater and not music, but kept writing, found a producer right when I went to college in Orange at Chapman University, and I found a producer. One of my friends actually in my theater program, her roommate was this big producer. He's amazing. I mean, this guy is just out of control. He's just all over the place right now. He's doing projects with, I might misquote, but like Disney and just big, Warner Brothers and huge companies. And he is this, composer and pianist. And he, when we got together, and that was 1999. That's kind of when the like, ooh, yep, this is definitely it. This is what I want. This is,
Mhm.
this is, this is excitement. This is, this is my soul. This is my passion. This is absolutely what I want to spend my life doing.
Mhm. Yeah. Wow. So when did you okay, here's the question I want to ask.
Mhm.
Can you somewhere along the lines, since you didn't have this very formalized, structured, upbringing in music, it sounds like you had a very musical family, but you weren't coming out of the academic world. And sometimes that can be challenging just to kind of step into the professional realm because you haven't
Right.
developed that network of your like school buddies. Sometimes so much spins off of that. Uh, but not always. Can you point along the way to some like specific mentors that helped guide you and help you step into the business?
Whew. Can I? I don't really know if I can. I'm trying to think. It was so I don't at all mean to sound, haughty or whatever the word is for this, but it was very much self-made from the beginning with me. It was just that clear ambition that I want to be a musician. I want to
Mhm.
be a musician. That's what I wanna do. And so I kept finding people, um, along the way to help me out, like after college, after I graduated, I came back to San Diego. I moved to LA for a little bit. Didn't really find much for me there. Moved back to San Diego and put out my first album with one of our friends who had the equipment in
Mhm.
his house, and he was happy to do, it for pretty much for free.
Yeah.
And I, you know, found musicians along the way to play the parts, and I had one of my friends do the artwork, and I had one of my friends do the digital, the digital reproduction, and I used CD masters, I think, to get like 2,000 copies and something like that. I mean, did the t-shirts and all the merchandise, and it was all pretty much
Mhm.
foolish ambition. I'm not really sure. Some kind of I'm trying to think about music mentors. I mean, my dad was in
Mhm.
bands, and that was always really exciting to me to go and watch him play.
Mhm.
Uh, as far as people along the way guiding me, I found more people that were false promising me lots of stuff,
Yeah.
which definitely happens if you're getting into the industry. It is imperative that you keep a level head and
Yeah.
know that nothing is, um, most things are not what they seem, and you have to make sure that you're trusting the right people.
Yes. I think that's a great segue. I would, excuse me, love to touch on that because you landing in Virginia, your first inclination was, let me get a producer. But it's important to note that you were a well-established musician by then.
Right,
You knew what you were doing, you knew what to look for and red flags. And so you were well equipped to go straight to that kind of a resource.
right,
What I see time and time again is a lot of young singers stepping into this thinking, I need to find a producer. I need to find somebody who will, basically just usher me into the industry with an
right,
album that
right,
I pay them $30,000 to make.
right.
And I've seen countless people taken advantage of, which ultimately leaves them with this, terrible taste in their mouth for the business altogether, and will oftentimes, step out just feeling like the whole thing is a sham.
Right.
But I love how you described your journey as not really having that singular person who really was your guru or just like ushered you right into the industry, but yet you looked around at what was around you already. And I think that is important to do because a lot of young singers or new people coming into the business think they have this vision of what it should look like, what a, someone important or, that can get them where they want to go. But it is so much better just to start in your own backyard, with
Absolutely.
who's around you. Like, just look at who do you know at your church, who do your parents know, who are your friends parents that may have,
Some kind
some
of
musical
connection.
skills. Exactly. And just getting your feet wet in those situations, because once you get involved with that, one thing will lead to another, lead to another, lead to another. And you've really got to feel those situations out and get that groundwork laid before you lay out any money
Right.
at all.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
And yes, producers are a dime a dozen. A good
Mhm.
producer is really very hard to find.
Yeah.
They are
Mhm.
they are there, but and a good producer also changes depending on what you want. And
Yeah.
what you were talking about is like, I want a producer to do this album, they shell out $30,000, and then they're not happy with the product, and it leaves a sour taste. I'm not gonna do this anymore. I was taken advantage of.
Mhm.
A good idea, or kind of a rule of thumb for me is, and I think it's been learned, but, I hope I can maybe shed some quick learning onto anyone else who's diving into the industry. There's the producer. You should find a producer who is willing to work with you and not just for you. They need to work alongside of you. They
Mhm.
have to have vision and they have to see your vision. That's imperative, because if they have vision and it's not your vision and you're paying them money, you will feel like they probably know what they're doing. I'm going to just step away and let their vision come to life. And that
Mm.
will not be good. And it will end up not being what you wanted. Regardless of if it sounds great, it might most likely won't sound like what you had in mind. So
Right.
it's just so important to meet with people, talk to them, see what other projects they have done, see if
Mm.
it's along the lines of what kind of music you're trying to put out, you
Mm.
know? They
Yeah.
might not work with any sort of, electronic sound. They might be all electronic. They might not work with any acoustic sounds. That might
Mm.
be their thing, and if that's not your thing, that's not your producer.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that you ask these questions when you're searching. It's what other bands have you produced? I would like to see your catalog. Can I see
Yeah.
your catalog? I'd like to see, who do you work with? What's your typical genre? And, it's important to, as a starting musician, listen to your playlists. What do you like? What do you want? What sounds good to you?
Mhm.
What's the idea that you're going for? Always go in with an idea, because there are some people out there that will take advantage of your indecisiveness or your not knowing what you want
Mhm.
and make it their own project, and then you'll end up not liking it, and you'll be $30,000 poorer
Right. Yeah, it's a
for it.
strong cautionary tale, and it happens all the time.
Luckily, I've had great luck with producers. I've worked with a lot of really good people, but I've also worked with some shady characters that I, look back and go, "Wow, that was not my best work."
Mhm. Yeah. But even if it does happen to you, it's a good learning lesson,
Yeah,
Hopefully you didn't
absolutely.
sink that much into it,
Yep. Yes.
but
Yeah.
you will learn something from it every time,
Yeah.
but as we're kind of wrapping up, I just like I said, I admire the journey that you've been on and where you have arrived at this point, and I'm really excited for you with your new release coming out. I can't wait to take a listen and, just to kind of continue to sit back and watch how your journey continues on. It's been great to watch it thus far, and as we've been talking, I've been thinking about all of the road bumps, the challenges that you've had along the way, having to restart. And on so many occasions, those definitely could have been things that led you to say, you know what, this is not for me. I mean, even just one move out of your music can be like, well, that was a fun run, but I guess,
I guess
I
I
guess
guess,
I'm
yeah.
done at this point.
Yeah.
So that leads me to my final question is what is it that makes you unstoppable?
Ooh, wow. I think right now, I would have to say that my thirst for what is next, my belief that I have so much yet to do, that I have so much yet to see, is what makes me unstoppable. I wanna see I wanna keep seeing, I wanna keep learning, I wanna keep growing, I wanna keep building, and I wanna keep singing. I want to do music because it lights me up. I want to keep creating, and I've come to places that I'm like, I'm not, I don't wanna create because I'm hoping that somebody else will like this. I'm creating because this feeds me and it makes me happy. And I do think I'm contributing something that is really special.
Mhm.
And that belief system has to continue on with me, and that's what keeps me going.
Yeah. Wonderful answer. I love it. Where would you like everybody to check out everything you have to offer and follow you at?
I would say Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you listen. Again, Evolution is coming out on the 27th, so you can check it out there or Amazon or anywhere online. AllegraDuChaine.com is my website that has upcoming gigs in the bio and pictures and all the songs, all the music, and the music video that is nominated for the Veer Awards. It's on there. That's just AllegraDuChaine.com. There is at Allegra DuChaine Music. That is my YouTube channel that has the video as well, and that has a lot of shorts, a lot of videos, a lot of things to check out. And TikTok, Instagram, Facebook for the day-to-days, what's going on, what's the news, new singles, new merch, new experiences, new travels. That is at Allegra DuChaine.
Wonderful. Great. Well, you heard it, everybody. Make sure you jump on the socials and online and follow her so that you can keep up with all of her awesomeness. It was such an honor having you here today. It was great to just meet up with you again after all these years, and I'm so
So
happy
much
to find
fun.
you in this place.
Yes, I'm so glad you reached out.
Yeah, it was great. Well, we'll let you go for now and give you the rest of your day back, but it was great to talk to you. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your journey, and I know that you've inspired so much of us. So we will say goodbye for now.
Thanks, Danielle.